Like most humans, you are confused by the unexpected appearance of eggs. When you find eggs between your blankets, you ask them, "Are you tired or cold?" When you find eggs inside the classic manual of style, The Art of War, you tell them, "I am calling the police." When you find eggs in your hair, you begin to feel sleepy. When you find eggs inside of the light as you look at the sun, you think about scrambling the eggs of your eyes. When you find smaller eggs inside of larger eggs, you ask them, "What are you hiding?" Now you are asleep. Now you are ready for another dream with your dream guide, friend. This is the egg dream. We are in a car, driving on the interstate through Dayton, Ohio. You ask me, "Do you know where the Wright brothers were born?" You ask me this because you want to surprise me with a trivia answer, thinking I do not know a trivia answer. But I do know the trivia answer and an additional answer to a question you have yet to ask. I answer you, yes, the Wright brothers were born there, and I point to a family gathering of trees outside of Dayton, Ohio. I then tell you about the earliest flying men. How even the earliest flying men needed to cling to trees and were known as pre-flying men. The Wright brothers hung from branches and hatched from eggs. I do not know who bore the eggs from which the brothers were born. The earliest flying men were also the earliest falling men. Technically, they were the late falling men. But by our standards, all men that fell before us now were earlier falling men. As babies loose on tree trunks, their mothers were the trees, as much as mother as the trees could be. The Wright brothers lost their grips on the bark and fell. Later, they realized falling was not flying. Later they realized they could fall up as well as fall down. This was when they invented flying. I tell you more trivia answers. For example, I tell you, once, in a former life long ago, I was a tree. I saw the predecessors to the earliest flying men, known then as the mid-late falling men. I saw them fall from my branches when their bones snapped as they hit the ground. I laughed as much as trees could laugh in that time. I laughed some more when their cries for help attracted the large cat carnivores of the age, which then ate the mid-late fallen men who fell from my branches. Trees laugh all of the time. Just listen. What does this part of your dream mean? What you think might be a ghost in the tree is only a plastic sack wearing a ribbon of red "thank yous" printed on its skin. Reply to this sack. Thank you, plastic sack. Thank you for hanging around up there, clapping for all of us, walking upright on two legs. I know you feel that you need to thank the plastic sack for more, and I don't want to break your heart, but that is all a plastic sack in the tree can understand. You ask me, which came first, my hand or the egg, and you show me your open hand. An egg sits in your palm. I tell you, your question is confusing. You say, I know. But still, which was here first? I didn't realize my hand in my dream until I felt the egg in it. I didn't realize the egg until I felt my hand under the egg. I tell you, maybe both arrived together. Then I ask you, what is inside of the egg? You are afraid to break the egg because a screaming life may be inside. You are also afraid to incubate the egg for the same reason. And any life inside may confuse you for a mother, and you do not want to become the ridiculous family of the town. Yes, Anything could be alive inside of the egg of your dream. It contains a dark framework. Now wonder what is occurring within the egg of your dream. That will lend insight into how you are using the yolk of your mind in your waking time. Perhaps you spend your commute time fantasizing a life dressed as a farmer. If so, recognize this is also a dark framework. Now wonder what is occurring within the farmer of your fantasy. That will lend insight into how you are using the tractor of your day, in the field of your work, in the time you have at your workplace, before returning to your home and then to your bed for dreams. If your farmer boots are covered in mud, you are very confused and constructed of a darker framework. I ask to see the egg in your hand. You show me the egg and remove it to look at your hand. I look at your pinky finger. It seems fine. I have a concern about lightning strikes. You ask, what does my pinky finger have to do with lightning strikes? And then you ask, what do lightning strikes have to do with my egg? I laugh. Ha ha. And then I laugh again. Ha ha. You always have many questions. I then warn you about pinky fingers, as long as middle fingers, which indicate a person who is prone to lightning strikes. And persons prone to lightning strikes are marked with Lichtenberg figures, or flowers, or lightning trees, which appear when capillaries golden after a lightning strike. And these marks allow for a new, beautiful cartography of their inner body. But the prone make a habit of wearing long sleeves which hide lightning patterns from view. Also, hands with such long pinky fingers snag on fences and brush and loosen plank nails. I tell you to use caution if such persons become your lover. Not everyone can survive lightning strikes, and lightning can travel through walls and through doors. And remember, lightning knocks after it arrives. Your egg begins to crack. Something begins to hatch from the egg. First, the cracks are little exposures of the dark frameworks inside. But the shell falls into small pieces to reveal a tiny baby. And this isn't a terrible-looking baby. In fact, it looks like you. And sometimes a baby is another way to rearrange the materials of yourself, to allow you to see more of the world. In fact, I think you should see more of the world, so I pull babies out of you. I pull babies out of your ears so you can hear more of the world. I pull babies out of your nose so you can smell more of the world. I pull babies out of your mouth, and babies out of your feet, and babies out of your elbows, and so on. There are so many babies of you in the world now. I am certain there isn't a you anymore. Only babies of you. I want to warn you, while it is fun to confuse your babies, you really shouldn't. Because confused babies will eventually make more babies, who will also be confused, and with a high chance of making more babies, that will also be confused. Now there are so many babies in the world. They move in a fluid. There are rivers of babies and lakes of babies. All of them go and come back. They flow. If you were still one person and not an arrangement of an uncountable quantity of babies, I would ask you to draw a map. Babies will always end up lost without a map. And one thing babies know to do when they feel lost is stay in place until they are found. But sometimes, even with maps, babies will get lost. Right now, somewhere a baby is waiting in place. And maybe the baby that waits must wait in place for so long, they must learn a trade. Maybe automotive maintenance. Now, if you ever lose one of your babies, and later find your baby again, after the baby has learned the automotive maintenance trade, never let that baby go. It is good to have a mechanic in the family. A mechanic baby will usually charge for parts but not labor. You are an amount of babies so large, and I am unable to count all of the babies, and I am sorry. You are babies that have created smaller babies. You are babies in the air, and then you are babies in the space between molecules, and then you are babies in the space between atoms, and so on, until it is babies of you all of the way down until the smallest unit of matter, and then it is more babies of you. It is here when you begin to stir. It is here when you begin to wake up, to start another day. And in this new day, know that you are everywhere in the universe, and in a way, that you are an unhatched egg of babies, ready to rearrange yourself in whatever room you enter, ready to experience the world in another way. Now, you are awake. Now, you are ready for another day. This has been the Egg Dream, with your dream guide, friend. Dream guides are written and recorded by Chad Redden.